Hey everybody. So today I'm having a conversation with the hip hop artist DaBaby. There was a point when DaBaby was literally the face of hip hop, one of the biggest artists in the world. He conquered all of the hip hop stages and all the way to the Grammys. He was killing it. Until one day, he made statements at the Rolling Loud Festival, which many people deemed extremely homophobic, and everything in his career changed.
DaBaby is one of the hottest rappers in the game, but after making some wild comments during his Rolling Loud performance, major celebrities like Elton John and Questlove have called him out, saying his actions are ignorant and homophobic.
Baby is doubling down on his seemingly homophobic and disturbing remarks made on stage at Rolling Loud in Miami.
Now, since then, DaBaby has still been a performer, he's still been an artist, and many have asked the question, has he learned, has he changed, and what has he learned or changed from that experience? Well, today, we're chatting to him about all of this. This is What Now with Trevor Noah. What's going on? Happy podcast day, everybody. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Me and Mandem's having a great time, blood. Can I tell you something? I think I'm going to move to London.
Yeah.
I'm having the time of my life. I just love it.
What part are you staying in?
All of it, blood, all of it. I got bare mans in it. So I've been riding the tube to my shows. Which, you know what's strange is like everyone in London tells you to ride the tube, but then when you ride the tube, everyone asks you why you're riding the tube, which is a very strange thing. Literally, I'm on the train every single day going to my show, and then people are like, what are you doing here? What are you doing riding the tube? And you're like, well, it's the fastest way. Yeah, but I didn't expect you to be riding the tube. Oh, that's so strange. So, what are you doing here? And then one guy's with me on the escalators coming up from the underground, and he goes, yo, Trev, I thought they gave you more money than to ride the subway, bruv. But I love it. It's been fun. You know, so I was in Ireland for a day. I love the Irish, man. They just have like I don't know what it is. They have a thing that connects them to us as South Africans.
Oppression. Oppression and colonization.
You see, I wasn't going to say that, Christiana. I was looking for something more
I love the
wholesome.
Irish, but they've suffered. So that's why we get on. I like the Irish too.
Scotland and Ireland, I feel like it's they feel like 100% my people who just live somewhere else. That's how I feel. And the Irish are the least uncomfortable with a very uncomfortable story, you know?
Yeah, I can see that.
In fact, Ireland was the first place where I ever told stories about apartheid in South Africa, because I was talking to a comedian and some audience members. We were at a comedy festival, and one of the comedians was chatting to me, and he's like, so tell me a little bit about your life, Trevor. Like, what have you done? Where have you been? And I was like, oh, this is how I grew up, and this is what and he goes, my God, why aren't you talking about any of that on stage? I was like, well, because it's depressing. I'm talking about apartheid and racism. And he's like, that's the most interesting thing you've talked about, Trevor. He's like, our audiences would love to hear about that. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I went on stage the next day and I told some of those stories, and the audiences loved it. And so I'll always credit the Irish for, being the people who encouraged me to just explore the less obviously funny parts of life and the less comfortable parts of living. Because I think, that's comedy encompasses all of it. Life encompasses all of it. This podcast encompasses all of it. That's why we're here, people. That's why we're here. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, look at our guest today, DaBaby. Ooh, DaBaby. Yes, this is an interesting one. Christiana, this is how I know you are my friend, truly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that you'll roll with me, and you have both a judgment and a love and an understanding for me, regardless of some of the decisions I make.
Yes. I mean, I trust it will be okay in the end. Just like I trust you'll do a good DaBaby interview, even though I have some reservations.
Well,
but I trust I'll roll with you on it. That's what I mean.
Okay, so here's the thing. Some people listening to this podcast have no clue what a DaBaby is. And if you're one of those people, I actually hope you will listen, because I think it's a fascinating conversation that goes beyond his art and the music that he creates. And I think there will be parts of the conversation that'll be very tough. You know, DaBaby has not lived an easy life, nor has he grown up in an easy world. And I think he's been part of making it not easy at times. And if you do know DaBaby, some of you might love him and go like, oh, I love him and his music. And some of you might be like, I cannot stand DaBaby. I hate everything he stands for. And I don't know. I've often find myself wrestling in life with the question of forgiveness, reconciliation, and the conversations that we have with people who have either wronged us or wronged, quote unquote, society. You know, and one of the things that interests me about DaBaby is you have someone who has definitely, I mean, he's definitely, you know, hurt people, but he seems to want to make amends, and sometimes I feel like he doesn't necessarily have the tools or the aptitude, but he has a willingness, and I'm a sucker for willingness.
Yeah, I know that about you. You're definitely a sucker for some willing, even if they're not able.
Yeah, but
I think he's. I don't know about the willing part, and I'd love to learn more. I would say that before, you know, all of his controversies, I was a big fan of DaBaby. I still think he's so talented.
Yeah.
Just the music is brilliant. The music videos, just so artistic. So I came to his music as a fan, and then I think perhaps it was fame, perhaps it was environmental, but you know, a few things happened back to back, and you're just like, oh. And then, you know, it kind of culminated in the incident at Rolling Loud Festival, where he was quite homophobic very publicly, even though the crowd seemed to be enjoying it, which, what was going on in that crowd? But, you know, and since then he's kind of been a pariah, but I think he's coming back into public life. And there are some people that feel he hasn't been accountable enough.
I'm intrigued by how people get to where they are and what informs not just the decisions they make, but the people they become. And DaBaby's one of those people, because I loved what you said. You became a fan of his and then discovered things. And I sometimes wonder how many times people are or aren't given grace because we don't know what we don't know about them.
Yeah.
And then when we do discover things about them, they're lucky enough that their past or their present doesn't sort of catch up to them, you know?
Yeah, and it wasn't just his kind of comments. He also has kind of this history of violence. And I do want to say that sometimes, this is not to absolve him for any responsibility for the things he's done, but how much is that linked to how he grew up, right? Is that where the violence come from? I'm curious about that, but I do think we live in a world where violent men are able to get away with things with little to no consequence. But, you know, who knows what consequences he's faced, both personally and professionally, because of it.
The question I would have is, how willing is he to grow? Does he want to grow? Does he need to grow? And then more interesting for me is, what is everything that has affected him? Like what are the ingredients that have come together to create DaBaby and who this human being is? That's what I'm really interested to get into with DaBaby, is, you know, who is the human being behind the actions. All right, yo, let's jump in with DaBaby. Let's see how this goes. DaBaby, welcome to the podcast.
Pleasure to be here. Appreciate you having me.
I think for this conversation, what I really wanted to get into is understanding you as a human being, to understand a lot about you as the artist.
Absolutely.
You know, you've had an outsized influence on the world. You know, someone who has 21 million followers just on your Instagram, but what your music has done, what you've embodied, I think goes far beyond that. And so, let's start with that. I'm always intrigued by how an artist chooses their name and what that name means to them.
Absolutely.
Why DaBaby?
Well, I'm the youngest of 3 boys. My mom has 3 sons. I'm the youngest sibling out of the 3 sons, and not only that, like early on, I had the name Baby Jesus,
Okay.
And this is as a local artist, you know what I'm saying? But my mom didn't feel good about that name. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they like, no, absolutely not, no. But I'm like, you know, my whole thing with it was like my purpose being, you know, to do for others. You know what I mean? And not myself. So that's my responsibility, you know what I mean, on this earth. Like,
I would love to know what your family was like and why that has been such a driving force in your life. So you were born in Cleveland,
Ohio.
right? Raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. So what, moved there when you were 7 years old?
Yep.
Was there a reason you moved? Was it good? Was it bad?
Oh, it was a great thing. I commend my mother, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
for changing our environmental situation, even though Charlotte itself is you know, it's not a walk in the park, you know what I mean? Not at all, like not even a little bit.
What was your mom like? Like, what was she strict? Was she a disciplinarian?
Absolutely.
Was she yeah?
Absolutely, but also fun, loving, nurturing,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, all about her sons, I remember her email was my 3 sons, Linda. Like, everything is my 3 sons, my handsome son. She's all about just uplifting us.
So she was proud of you from the beginning.
Absolutely, especially
Right.
me. Like, I got the smile like her, the 2 dimples. Like, I resemble her the most. My brother, don't get mad at me. To my brother, y'all got mad at me enough growing up, but like, I'm my mother's twin. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right.
sweetest woman on earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll give you the shoes off her feet. You know what I'm saying? If you
Okay.
didn't have them, even if she didn't have another pair to put on.
How did she punish you?
She
Like, if you did something
she
wrong,
whooped our ass.
She
You know what I'm
whooped
saying?
your ass?
Excuse my
No,
language.
oh, no, there's no- you can say anything
She
here.
whooped
You
our
can-
ass. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Most definitely. Like, we.
What
you know.
was the worst whipping your mom gave you?
Oh man.
Like,
Probably.
I remember mine. The 2 that I hated the most was, I had 2 types of whippings that my mom would give me. One was the chasing whipping. That one was one where I was trying to get away, and she would just follow me. It was like a tornado coming after me. And then the other one was, I tell my mom till this day, I go, that was like it's like a war crime. She would send me outside to get a stick
To
from
pick
a
a
tree. You call it a
switch. It's
switch.
called a switch,
You call it a
absolutely.
switch out here, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and she would send me outside to pick my own punishment. I always said
Absolutely.
I hated being an accomplice to her crime. So everyone knows their worst. Like, what was the worst whipping that?
That
your
was
mom
one
would
of the
give you?
ones that,
Yeah?
yeah, that was always, you know, that's like adding insult to injury, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
You know, especially when you try to find the tiniest
You
little
do.
stick
Oh,
and
those are
come
the
in
worst,
and it's
though.
like, oh no, go back. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, go back. So definitely the ones with the switch and
Yeah.
the extension cord, you know, with landline phones.
Oh
where
man,
you can hear
had the
it.
extension cord.
When you can hear it. And one thing about my mom, like, one thing she always, like, she was very adamant on, like, not feeling sorry for yourself. Like, no, like, when we used to get whoopings, like, we weren't allowed to cry. The whooping isn't over until you stop crying. You get
Wow.
what I'm saying? Yeah, like, that's it. Because it's like, you know right from wrong. You know what I'm saying?
How
So
did
it's
how
like-
did you know? I feel like everyone has a different experience of this as a child. Did you know why you were being whipped and so,
Absolutely.
but did you think that it was right, or did you go, this is the worst thing in the which way did you go? Because I feel there's always 2 types of kids.
I knew right from wrong, you know, and it kind of you know, tickles me sometimes because, like, with the way that I'm perceived, you know what I mean, by the public, like, I was the good child in my house, like, you know what I'm saying? In my household, I was an angel, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was an angel, so, you know, I'll say that to say, you know, like, the environment that I come from, the household I was raised in, like, every day, it was war, you know what I mean? Like, growing up was a challenge for me, you know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about those challenges. Like, you know, I grew up in South Africa. You know, we had our challenges. They're very different, and yet I find in many ways very similar
Absolutely.
to many experiences that Black Americans had.
Absolutely.
You know, we all have our hood. We all have the dude at the corner. We all have the dice game.
Right.
We all have the shootings. We all have. It's strange how familiar and
Absolutely.
yet how different the worlds were.
On different sides of the world.
You grew up in this world where, you know, you have a mom who, by all accounts, is religious, is driven,
Absolutely.
is focused, is loving, is also a disciplinarian. She's keeping you in check. And she moves you to North Carolina. Now, when you're growing up in North Carolina, I've read a little on your story. I've listened to some of the interviews that you've had. It seems like you lived in a strangely hybrid world where, on the one hand, you had a few opportunities, but on the other hand, you were in the streets. And I'd love to know How did you end up in the streets? What would did you find the streets or did the streets find you?
So a lot of those elements like that you list, like, you know, you got the hoods, the dice games, this, that, you got the alcoholics, drug addicts, all of that. One thing with me, and you know, and I take my time speaking on this because I never discredit the superhero that my mother was and still is. You get what I'm saying? A lot of those elements, like that, you know, most people have to go down the street to see or venture off or don't go over there, go to places their parents tell them don't go to see. They were in the household with me. You know what I'm saying? Like we would be watched by my uncles, like my uncles who are either alcoholic, drug addict.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
This or that.
Right.
Like real deal drug addicts. Like not, you know, like, my grandmother's house directly across the street from the crack house. That's what they call them, a crack house.
Yeah,
so it's, you know, drug addicts, prostitution, 24/7. Like they're up 4 or 5 in the morning, they're up the entire night, out the entire day, roaming the streets. Like a lot of these elements, they were like right there. But at the time, like growing up, it just seemed completely normal to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's
it's
something.
hard. It's hard though. I mean, it's hard. You know, it's interesting. I grew up in a very religious household. Many of the views that I held growing up were completely shaped by that religion.
Sure.
Over time, they've shifted and they've changed, but that was the core of my foundation. I also grew up in a very African household.
Right.
So those are some of the ideas that I held and I maintained. And it's interesting that you've now brought that up because you know, you have your dad from afar, giving you wisdom, you know, contributing to your life, but he is from afar.
Right.
You know, you have your mom who's working all day, all night to make your life just, you know, what it needs to be, just to keep
roof
meal,
over our head,
to keep a roof over your head.
Right.
And unfortunately, you're in an environment where you're surrounded by drugs, violence, alcohol.
Absolutely.
You know, you can name it. I mean, people can imagine it, but when you're in it, it's a very different experience.
It's extremely different.
There are two types of responses to this. There are people who will crumble because of this, and there are people who they'll become galvanized by it, and they will fight within it. I feel like you're the latter. I feel like you're the kind of person who saw opportunities and saw ways to thrive within that world.
Absolutely.
What was the first moment where, this is long before you're DaBaby, you know, I mean, you baby Jesus, you're the little kid in the family, you know, but...
And even with that name didn't come until...
Oh, that name didn't come till much later. So
much later. That wasn't a childhood.
So at this point, you're still Jonathan.
Childhood, I was John.
You're just John.
John or Hard Chocolate was another nickname.
Hard Chocolate?
Hard Chocolate.
Okay, so you got John or Hard Chocolate. What was the moment where the streets took you? What was that life? What were you doing? Where were you going? What, you know, there's a moment where it snaps. I remember the first time I had what was my first encounter with the police? First encounter with the police was my friends and I had like a replica gun that we had with us. And we were stupid. We were thinking maybe we'd be, I don't even know. We were like, maybe we'll be gangsters. I don't know.
Right.
But that was like our first encounter with the police. I mean, we'd get arrested for throwing block parties that were illegal. But you always remember your first, what was your first encounter with the police? What was it about? What was happening in your life?
I don't even know if the police were involved, but I remember I was in 4th grade, 3rd or 4th grade, but I bought a pocket knife to school, and I was showing it off to some girl.
You know, I brought a pocket knife. I got expelled for bringing a knife to school.
I'm so glad they expelled me.
I got expelled.
They suspended me for a day.
That is wild.
I showed it to a girl, and she told on me. They suspended me for a day.
Oh, I got expelled for that one.
They didn't. The knife was already gone when she told them. Thank God she waited probably to the end of the day to tell them, because I probably would have got expelled too. But and that would have messed up my little school record, because I was straight A's like all the way until like high school. I mean, nothing less than a B for sure. I didn't get a C till maybe high school.
You know what? That is one of the paradoxes. So I don't know what it was like growing up where you grew up. Where we grew up, I found there was a conflict. There was a clash between the streets and school.
Right.
If you did well in school, guys would be like, you're goofy. Guys would say, you're a punk. Guys would, and so there was almost this element of, you don't want to do well because you don't want to be perceived as somebody, you know, who somebody can step up on, somebody who can be, you know, taken advantage of. You are a strange mix in that, because you were proud of your straight A's, but you're in the streets as well. Was there ever a moment where violence came into your world?
Yeah, it was there. It existed.
Oh, this is just a daily thing?
Violence was in my world as when I'm 3 or 4. Like I see it's in the household. Like I see my uncles fighting each other. My brothers, you know what I mean? Like with me, like every day, like it was like that. Like, you know, I was the baby boy. Like I was the one. They'd lock me in the closet, bang on the doors, act like Jason's here, the boogeyman's here. These types of things. Like like I used to piss in the bed because I was scared to get up to go to the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like it was that type of thing.
Right.
We're all sharing a room, but violence is, it was very much there. Like while my mom's out working all these long, hard hours, like my brother, he's probably 10 at the time, 20, 30 older kids in the house, you know what I'm saying? Like, like
did you ever see a dead body growing up?
I've definitely been around, shootings and all that for sure. The first time death probably was around me. A certain situation had happened with one of my family members, and I just remember it like it was yesterday that we were like sat down and told, when you go to school, because we're little kids, you don't speak about this to nobody. You don't ever bring this up to anybody. I literally never have. You know what I'm saying? Like to this day, you know what I mean? But that's the first time I remember it, and I had to be maybe like how old was I? I think I was in middle school. I don't think I was in elementary school. I think I was in middle school, but it was early in middle school. Had to be like 6th grade, 7th grade. 6th grade, 7th grade.
Do you think you had a full comprehension of what that was?
No, absolutely. No, absolutely.
Yeah,
I knew exactly what that was, but just in terms of violence, like...
Were you scared ever?
I was scared all the time, every day, but as a child, you know what I mean? Like my mom's not at home. And then, you know, like elementary school kids, they get out of school first. Yeah. So I had a house key at like age 6. Like I'd let myself in, you know what I mean? Like I'd come home and let myself in, a 6-year-old. You know what I'm saying? When I look at my daughter right now being 6 years old, I'm like, wow, like...
I can't believe I was going through that.
Oh, for sure. And like I say, it didn't feel like I was going through it. It did. It very much did, but it didn't. Like this was just the norm. I don't know anything outside of this. You know what I'm saying? But I say that to say, like, you know, when my brothers would come home shortly after, they come in, go right back outside. They leave me. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? They go right back outside. So I'm in the house. Like that's probably one of the reasons why I'm just so self-sufficient. I had to be. You know what I mean? Like I had to be. Like I had no choice. You know what I'm saying?
There are many moments where you're raising yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm feeding myself. I'm making my own food. You know what I mean? All that. And one of my uncles, they have a story that they tell us where, because one of my uncles doesn't do drugs, right? Hardcore drugs. He drinks, doesn't do hardcore drugs, but where he tried to beat one of my other uncles with a baseball bat because he had me with them in a crack house smoking crack. Like he had me with them. I was like 2 years old. You get what I'm saying? Like these types of things, like that's what I come from, and it also helps me understand why I'm set up the way I'm set up as a person. You know what I'm saying?
That's fascinating that you have that level of self-awareness to understand how much of you has been shaped by the world that you were in.
And that's newly. These are all things that I'm beginning to notice, like within the past couple years. You know what I'm saying? Like I notice most of this stuff when I come sit down with people because I've never been to therapy.
Is therapy is that allowed in hip hop?
I utilize I mean, several people recommend it too. I believe, you know, I believe it's something that would be like extremely healthy for me. That's why I always lean towards like interviews, especially like early on, like when I first popped in the mainstream, and when I sit down with somebody, you'll get so much more out of me than probably like the average person, because it's like, you know, I'd walk out of the interviews like, damn, like those are stories I've been waiting to tell. I almost forgot about them. Like it takes you know,
you've buried them, and then you wait for somebody to ask you.
That's what I did with my childhood. Buried it.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I buried it. All those memories, like that's what I did. Like so, I know how to like bury things.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me ask you this. As somebody who grew up in a household, and I'm speaking about myself now, I grew up in a household where, you know, there was a lot of domestic violence. I grew up around...
I was around plenty of that.
I grew up around, you know, uncles who were violently drunk. You know, you see it. You go through phases. You're afraid. You're terrified. You freeze. You know, everything you're speaking about, I can relate to. And there's also one emotion that you don't realize you're having because you don't have the power to have it, and that is anger.
Right. suppressed anger.
I can only imagine there was a lot of suppressed anger inside you.
For sure.
Because you are the baby. There's a lot of the time you don't have control.
Yeah, you got sibling rivalry too. That's a whole different category.
Right. So you're dealing with just brothers on their own, but now you're also dealing with uncles, you're dealing with the streets, you're dealing with a world that
brothers who are angry about this same world that I'm living in, but they're actually older than me and able to process it. So it's hitting them. You know what I mean? Even harder than it's hitting me.
How did your anger manifest
without
itself?
the support of a father? That's the difference too. Like I'm the baby boy, and I'm the one whose father is in his life at a distance.
Okay. So your brothers didn't have that.
No.
Oh.
And
okay.
growing up, like you see the difference between me and my brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that was the defining
oldest brother
factor?
committed suicide in 2020.
Damn.
So when you say, like, I remember, maybe like 5 minutes ago in the conversation when you say, like some people, they crumble or these types of elements in their environment and just their upbringing destroys them. Like you see the difference, like between, you know what I mean, how I dealt with it and like what I was able to, blessed enough to be able to turn it into, as opposed to, like it ultimately being like my brother's demise, you know what I'm saying?
Do you think your dad was the defining factor?
Absolutely.
You think that made the difference?
Absolutely.
What do you think it was about your dad being in your life, even from a distance, that made the difference?
Just always just putting something on my mind and just showing me something different, like always. And I don't, I'm gonna keep having to like go back to saying like I can't discredit like the job that my mother did. She did amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she also has to allow him to be able to do that. Like my mother has to make a way for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like she has to. No, call your father right now. You get what I'm saying? Like she.
What was tell me a little bit about.
Because at times I'd stray away from it. Like I wouldn't.
Tell me a little
answer
bit about
the
your
phone.
dad though. What was his life?
He was
what
in
was
the
he
army.
doing? He was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
He went to the army when I was born.
Oh, this is interesting.
So he was in the army for like 10 years straight until he like injured his foot. You know what I mean? So he was at all those wars, Afghanistan, Iraq. I'd get the pictures of him. I used to love the pictures of him with the guns. And I'd show him off, have him on my wall in my room. I used to write him. That's why I'm such a good writer. I'd write him letters back and forth when he was in the army. He's really at war. I had to communicate with him through letters. You know what I'm saying? And he'd write me. I'd write him back as a child. Like he'd tell my mom, let him write me. I'd write him back. He'd like grade my papers like an English professor, like red line it, you know what I'm saying? Like have punctuation corrections, everything all throughout the paper. And he wouldn't even let me like use slang. And he's from that too. He's from Cleveland, Ohio.
Right.
So he's,
but he
wanted
wanted you to be more.
When I'm with him,
yeah.
he'll relax a little bit more with it, and you know what I mean. But while I'm over here on my mom's side, because it's a whole different, Yeah, it's a completely different cloth over here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's very adamant on just making sure, and it made the world of a difference. You know what I'm saying?
Your music career is public. Your music career is well known. So I won't delve into that too much. What I'd love to understand is behind the scenes.
Right.
As DaBaby, you start blowing up. Your music starts growing. You start building up a fan base. You start making money. You start experiencing success. What confuses me is how violence still stays a part of your world.
Absolutely.
This is something I've learned changes depending on where you're from and the hood that you're in. Is how you respond to conflict and how conflict is expected to be dealt with.
Absolutely.
So
that's the
right. So in South Africa, for instance, in South
sure.
Africa we have different hoods. So we had like Alexandra was one township, and then Soweto is where my grandmother's from, and you have Tembisa, etc. And we'd even know, we'd go like, oh, cats from that hood, they'll stab you.
For sure.
Cats from this hood will break a bottle on your head. Cats
right.
from this hood will shoot you. Like we'll even say like those guys shoot,
right.
those guys stab, those guys. But you almost know what type of violence is either expected or probably going to happen to you in those worlds. It feels like the world you were in was a gun environment, right?
It was all the above.
It was all of the above.
Absolutely.
So when you're growing up, do you think to yourself, all right, there is only one way I can defend myself? Do you know that there is an ultimate conclusion, or like how does DaBaby exist in this world? Trying to be you whilst acknowledging that you're still in Charlotte and you're still, because you're successful now, you're an artist.
This is DaBaby, this is in early on.
Not as a child, but as an adult.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one night I was getting ready to go to the club. I didn't go. everybody else went. I'm like, I'm tired. I'm asleep. I hear the door get. I don't even know this until after the fact. I hear people screaming. That's what I feel like woke me up when I jumped up. I hear people screaming, "Where's that? Get down, get down. Where's that? Where's that?" Shit like that. You know what I mean? And I immediately grab my gun, come out around the corner. See like 6 people with masks and guns. You know what I'm saying? They're looking through the boxes. I had like different posters with different pictures. Like I had all my promo material out, like in the front.
Yeah.
It's like a condo type of apartment where it has stairs in it, and
yeah.
you know what I mean, you can come in the garage from the top, but you don't know that if you come through the front door down here.
Yep.
That type of situation. Maybe 3-4 bedrooms. Me and my brother were both staying there, and I come around the corner. It's like maybe like 6 people. You know what I mean, with masks on. This is like 2 in the morning. 2, 3 in the morning, maybe like 6 people with masks on and guns creeping around the corner. Some of them looking through the boxes with the posters. The closest person when I turned the corner was as close as me and you are.
Damn.
Yeah, when I turned the corner, wielding a gun, you know what I'm saying? Like creeping, like having it down low. I'm the same way when I turn the corner. Boom, shoot, spin back around the corner because I'm completely outgunned. Like it's, like I immediately see, as soon as I turn the corner, it's several bodies in here, all in all black, all got masks on, all of them got guns. I turn the corner, shots just rang off, boom, 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 boom. I go out through the top and open the garage to where, because of the side street, to where you can walk through the grass or the little sidewalk, get to the front door. If I come up through the top and I come out the garage, if I look to the left, it's literally like right there. I just have to cut through some grass and it's right there. And I can hear them. You hit somebody, and they jump in the car, pull off. You know what I mean? That's the first shooting incident. But whatever, like it's Charlotte, it's normal.
Whoa. You say, but whatever. And this is sort of what I'm trying to understand and what I'm trying to get to is, I hear your but whatever. But it's also not whatever. Do you know what I mean? What I mean by this is, like, a few things. One, you hear the commotion, you hear what's going on, you grab your gun. What I wonder sometimes, whether you think about your life, because I try and think this about my life, and I think many of us don't, is how abnormal some of our normal actually is.
Absolutely.
The fact that you think there's a possibility this is happening.
Right.
The baby's not walking down the stairs going like, "Hello, is anybody there?" You know what I mean? You're going. You're immediately going.
When I tell the story,
I know what it is.
I feel like God woke me up and put my hand on my gun.
Well, there you go.
Get out there type.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right. That tells me the kind of world that you're living in, to think that that's a possibility. The fact that you then go through the motions the way you do tells me that this is a world where you believe that it's a possibility.
Absolutely. Day in and day out.
Once, let's say post that event, there's trauma, there's fear, there's everything. Obviously you have the fight or flight. So fight kicks in first.
Yes.
But there's got to be a moment where you go, I'm not safe, or there's got to be like...
the bullets, the return gunfire just missed me. You know what I'm saying? It just missed me. I feel like the difference with me, like I don't, it in terms of how do I deal with violence as opposed to how people expect me to deal with violence. Like, in my upbringing, it's like your only option is to defend yourself.
Right. So you have this world where you genuinely believe, and maybe validly so, that anytime anything can happen. Anyone can step up to you. Anyone wants to test you. This is an environment that
not even necessarily test, like.
And so what I'm trying to understand and trying to get to in your world is sort of an understanding of this, because you see what you just said now is interesting. It is not a test. You're dealing with very real situations.
Absolutely.
Do you, in this moment in time, do you feel like you're a safe individual? Do you feel like you're you feel like you're beyond it now?
Never.
No?
I can walk outside right now and anything can happen to anybody.
But who would the anything be, and who would the anybody? And I mean this honestly.
There's no way. Like I'd have no way of knowing. You know what I mean? Like I'd literally have no way of knowing.
But would it be the streets coming back, or would it be what is it?
What makes somebody do something wrong doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with you. You know what I mean? Somebody could be having a bad day and and step and trip over your foot accidentally on the way in the store, and
the next
because
thing you know,
they turn around and kill you. It turns into a fight or a life or death situation. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this though, based upon what you see, is a beautiful segue to this question. You are a parent, and you're a proud parent.
Absolutely.
you talk about being a father. You talk about what it means
It's
to
my
you.
favorite thing to be.
Oh yeah. And there is a valid argument that it is about the environment and it is the world that you're in. What is the world that you want to see, that you're creating for your child? What is that world? How different, or how do you make that world different? Because I'm assuming you don't want your daughter knowing that as a reality. I'm assuming you don't want your daughter thinking of that as a possibility.
Not necessarily.
You want her to be aware of it, I'm assuming.
Absolutely, and that's the word I was going to use. Like, it's just being aware of the world that she exists in, which she already is. Like, when I got into the situation and a guy was shot and killed in Walmart by me, my daughter was right there. She's right there, 1 year old.
How did she process that?
She didn't. She probably doesn't even remember it. Her older brother definitely probably remembers it. You know what I'm saying? She's 1, so he had to be 5 at the time. Yeah. He's her age. He was a year younger than what she is now. If she saw it now, she would definitely remember it like it was yesterday. Right. It's completely traumatizing. Like, it's, you know what I mean?
How do you speak to your kids about that? What do you say after that situation? For real?
I don't. Now immediately after, I just pay very close attention to them. You know what I mean? I've definitely had a conversation with their older brother. My daughter wasn't even really talking at the time. She was, but it's like,
but with your son though, what's the conversation?
It's just more so just checking on him, seeing how he himself processed it, and not telling him how to process it. You know what I mean? Okay. Like, not telling him how to process it. And, thank God he was 1 aisle over from me and he didn't actually see it. Right. So he hears boom, 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 and sees an entire, Walmart store evacuate. Yeah. Fire alarms going off, the little siren going off, like he sees it. You know what I mean? He sees mayhem. He hears the conversations immediately after when I come back over to check on them. Yeah. Like, he sees it all. You know what I mean? He's very aware. Like, he hears people talk about it. Of course. Like. So then, what happened in Walmart? Like, what? Yeah. That's what I attempted to do originally, was de-escalate the situation with my words, but that isn't, what the opposing side of the situation, that isn't what they wanted. They had different intentions, and that, that just goes back to, like, what I'm saying. Like, you never know. Like, I'm in Walmart buying diapers and But you don't know this person, right? No, hell no. From a can of paint. I'm in Walmart just buying, shopping for kids, baby shampoo, shit like that. Absolutely. Yeah, they know me from being the rapper from our city. Like, the rapper that's in our city. Okay. So that altercation starts off because this person is curious as to what they see, somebody that has something going on, like, from the environment I'm from, the city I'm from, like, the person who has something going on, it's like, fuck him. Like, it's immediately, I remember seeing, like, a Biggie interview where he's like, growing up, like, we'll see the person drive by with, like, the nice cars and the jury, and it's, fuck that nigga, I kill that nigga. Like, that's how it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people, they target, success. A lot of people with nothing to gain. Like, I remember the media, like, when it happened, like, reports were flying around saying that they attempted to rob me. They didn't. It was never a robbery. It wasn't, I had nothing to rob me for. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a robbery attempt at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was I don't know, an ego thing. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Right. I don't know. But if they wanted to test me, that's what it was. It was a test. Like, people see, a person admired, a certain way or perceived a certain way, and they want to test it. They want to know, okay, what makes this? And what I think it is, you know what I mean? Is it's like, why do they deserve what they're working towards? I don't even have it yet. Right. You know what I mean? It's not at the same level, but I found it exists in all professions. Comedians, what we experience is people always try to test how funny. I know this is ridiculous, but people try and test how funny. They go, let me see if I can make him a fool. Let me see if I can make. So I'll go out, I'll be at a restaurant, people will do the stupidest things. Sometimes it's the person serving, sometimes it's the person who's at a restaurant. They go, let me act the fool in their life because I want to see if I can
fooled, and I go,
Exactly.
but that's not what I do.
That's
right?
not what I do, right.
I've seen this happen to, like soccer players. Someone will see them in the street and go, oh, I have a ball. Let me go
Throw
and
it
see if
down
I
on the
can,
ground in
let me
front
see if I
of
can
them,
throw it in
and
front of the
it's like,
ground
my God,
and see if I can.
yeah, like.
But what's interesting is hip hop is one of the few professions and worlds where it is tied to something that is a lot more real and a lot more dangerous. So
Absolutely.
the test I'm getting the test of a fool. I'm getting the test of a joker.
I'm getting the test of a gangster, or
you see,
get what I'm saying? Like
that's a difficult thing about hip hop that I think a lot of people don't understand. And while I don't condone it, I don't like it, but I go, it's a very real thing.
It's
it is
very real.
It's very much.
It's
you
dangerous
take
to not
who's
know
at the
how
top.
real it is. It's
Yeah,
dangerous to not know. You know what I mean?
There you go.
It cost several rappers their life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Time and time again. So.
Right. I'm going to ask you a question that may be ignorant, but I know a lot of people will ask it because they're not familiar with the world. A lot of people would say, but DaBaby, why don't you leave that world? Why don't you go live in another neighborhood
Right.
and just escape it all? There's no shootings in Westchester, DaBaby.
Right.
There's no shootings in my part of Connecticut. Why don't you escape that world? How would you respond to that question?
I hadn't made it out of the city yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah,
well,
you know
there
what
you
I'm
go.
saying? Yeah, when
okay.
those
well, there you
situations
go.
took place, like I hadn't made it out of the city. But, to put it into perspective, like I've been, in the middle of shooting incidents on Collins Avenue in Miami Beach.
I hear you.
You see what I'm saying? Like that
Yeah.
is where you want to move to. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like you never know, when
Right.
violence is right there in front of you. Like,
Yeah.
you just simply don't know. It's all about the type of day somebody's having or the way. It's more so about how you move throughout these different environments.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. It's about knowing how to move no matter, where
Right.
you're at. But when you have the magnifying glass on you that artists or entertainers have, especially rappers, right? Hip hop artists, it comes with the world of people who feel like that is for this type of person, what makes him deserve that. And they immediately, they feel entitled to what you have going on, or they feel entitled to the idea of you having to go through everything they're going through in order to exist in that space. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's where you get situations where like people are willing to come, approach a guy with his 2 kids and their mother in a grocery store in Walmart.
Right.
You know what I mean? With no intent, like, it make more sense to me if they thought I had a large amount of money on me or some jewelry and they were attempting to rob me. This guy just died for nothing. You get what I'm saying? Because his friend, and that's what I'm saying, it's about knowing how to move. And a lot of times it's about the people that you got with you. You know what I'm saying? Because that guy died for his friend that night. Because his friend approached me. You know what I'm saying? His friend was the catalyst of the situation.
Were you sad that he lost his life, knowing, because it feels like you have a certain level of understanding
sad.
for his world?
It was sad, but yeah, it was definitely sad. Was I sad? I can't sit here and honestly say I was sad. I became more aware of, I was reminded once again, it was more like, reassurance that, hey, you never know what's going to happen. And you have to, be prepared. You know what I mean? Had I not been prepared, had I not been, legally possessing a firearm, you get what I'm saying? Like, had I not been prepared, like, I would have had a gun pulled out on me, my 1-year-old daughter, her 4-year-old brother, their mother. And then I would have just been at the mercy of however they're feeling or whatever they decide to do.
Right.
And these are people who clearly don't walk around making good decisions, you get what I'm saying? But that's what I would have been left with, And but ultimately, most importantly, I would have been left with the responsibility to protect my family in that situation.
It's what you said about moving between worlds. You said you move from one world to another, not realizing that you don't understand the other world, and there's a level of ignorance that you move into it with. DaBaby blows up in hip hop, becomes an icon, becomes somebody who's setting trends. You're not just a music maker, you're a trend creator. You then accelerate that growth into a world where you are now on mainstream media, the SNLs, the Rolling Stones, you're on covers,
Grammys with you.
The Grammys with me.
You know what I mean?
You're in this world.
6 nominations. Like,
doing your thing, right? And all of that comes to a halt, or a lot of it, because not all of it really, a lot of it comes to a halt when one day you're on stage and in the middle of a performance, you start saying things to the crowd, you know, about AIDS and gay people and I mean, you just, as I would say it with friends, if I was talking colloquially, I'd be like just shooting off at the mouth, just, you know, you just going, and that sets into effect a series of dominoes.
Oh, immediately.
You didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks. Put a cell phone like that. Fellas.
Lights up.
Fellas, if you ain't sucking dick in the parking lot, put your cell phone like that.
Let's be real about this shit.
Yeah, keep it fucking real.
So let's break this down in steps and in stages. You know, because when things are happening to us, they often happen so fast that we cannot process what is happening. And I think from the public's point of view, oftentimes people consume something and then there's another story and then you move on and there's no real processing of anything.
Right.
So let's start with the actual incident. You're on stage, you know, you go into this moment with the audience where you're saying these things. What was your intention in that moment?
Just to have everybody do exactly what they did, just to put their cell phone lights up and, you know, create a transitional moment in, you know, in my set, in my performance.
But why
do
you think you said what you said? Where do you think it came from?
I mean, what I said was, I mean, it was, I said it so naturally and without any ill intent, but at the same time, like, you know, on hindsight, definitely. And it didn't even have to be that far behind for it to be on hindsight. Like, I learned immediately, like, you know, I'm speaking the way I'm speaking, ignorant to the way that it'll be perceived with me being the person who I've grown and worked to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, you know, it's not, like I say, it's completely unintentional. Like, and not once did I even mention, you know, a gay person. Like, I didn't even say anything about a gay person. I'd mentioned if you don't have AIDS, fellas, I said if you didn't perform oral sex on somebody in the parking lot, put a cell phone light up. All of these are just things to, you know, to somewhat get you, not somewhat, to very much so get you to just put a cell phone light up, in which literally everybody did. Like, I don't, you know.
So this, you see, now this is what I'm trying to get.
Everybody there.
That's what exactly. So this is what I'm trying to get to.
But I'm just in a space to where, like, I'm not like making excuses for it.
No.
And I just feel like I just should have been so much more aware of the fact, first of all, that it's being live streamed and and you know that this can potentially be used as you know, used as a vessel to just paint my character or assassinate my character or just paint it a certain way, you know what I mean? And that's just, it wasn't what it was. But in terms of like how I responded to, and I think that was more detrimental than what I said itself. Yeah. The way I responded to the backlash that I got, you know what I mean? The early backlash, the first wave of it, like, I kind of like took it as a joke, like, this got to be a joke, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, this can't be, like, y'all don't think, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this is just another attempt to, you know what I mean, for the media to, you know, to knock me off of this pedestal that they feel like I'm on. Me, this felt minuscule to me. Like, this didn't feel like something that needed to be, you know, responded to from a place of me being worried. Like, I felt like the second I say, no, that's not what I meant, like, that should have been understood and boom. Or if you were there, you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they should.
Let's take a step back then maybe and go through each thing. Okay. If you have grown up in hip hop, I will be honest, I will be a person who says this, and maybe this will now bounce back on me. But
hopefully
I'll be honest.
not.
No, but I'll say this. In hip hop, there's a lot of language that is used. There are a lot of ideas that are used that it's like surface level, and we have to admit is also homophobic. There's a lot of homophobia and racism, and I'm not trying to make you solve all of that. I want to talk to DaBaby, not everybody about everything, right? Because I think you're one individual who is part of something. But you can't deny, you know, whether it's, you know, black community in Africa and in North America. And I mean, even the white community, I mean, you know, it's oftentimes black people get singled out. But I feel like homophobia is something that has been rampant throughout time and then slowly has been evolving over the past maybe 2 decades really in our lifetimes. You look at from the 80s to now, there's been a huge jump and it's still not complete.
Absolutely.
But in that moment, it feels like to me correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like to me you're on stage, you're saying something that feels reflexively funny and just like engaging with the audience that they're, because as you said, they engage with you, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, they engage with you in this moment. You're having a good time. It does go outside of that bubble, right? And as you said now, you're aware of the context outside of that. People then say to you, DaBaby, you're homophobic. DaBaby, you hate gay people. Why would you parrot these ideas? You know,
it was that
people
part.
people speak out. People speak out. I understand you were offended. I understand that you were hurt. Nobody wants to be labeled as something that they don't see themselves as. But was there also a part of you that understood why people were saying that?
At the time, no.
Okay.
Like I was, you know, I literally did not understand. I made it clear that I didn't understand. You get what I'm saying? Like, because it's, you know, and a videographer that works very close to me, right? He was going through just hard drives. I've been recording my entire journey since I've got serious about it.
Right.
And he's like, bro, I'm watching it, and you said the same thing before at a show. Like I said it before at a show, right? When I'm on tour, but I'm not the top streaming artist in the world. I'm not the top streaming rapper in the world at the time. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, I think that's the difference. Like I got a completely new world of people who look up to me, you get what I'm saying? Who support me, you know what I mean? Who buy my music, you know what I mean? Who, you know, they literally look up to. I'm probably what they put. My music has probably helped them get through certain situations. You know what I'm saying? What have you? You know what I mean? And I'm unaware of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm aware of it, but I'm unaware of the way that, you know, certain things that I would normally say that wouldn't even, you know, not even normally say, like that's, you know.
No. But I think, look, and
something that I would say and look at is like, okay,
but I mean
that's
this,
normal.
and I think we
like
have to be. I think we have to be honest about. That's why I think we won't get far, and not just the two of us, but I think in society, the reason I don't think we get far with a lot of these conversations is because we're not honest enough about. So, to say that DaBaby is an outlier, I think is a dishonesty.
Right.
But to say that what DaBaby did is good is not. It's like for me, it becomes a symptom. It goes like, oh shit, that thing now got exposed to the world.
Right.
Now it's like, okay, all right. DaBaby showed a little bit of his world to the outside world, a bigger world than he normally does, and now he's dealing with those ramifications. It sounds to me like you are stepping into a world where you're understanding this.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure.
But now here's the thing I want to know from you on a personal level. And maybe it's too personal, and if it is, forgive me. But like, do you think that your experiences since then have helped you understand? Do you feel like you're becoming more tolerant? Or do you think you've been more defensive? Like, this is just you as a human being. I'd love to know how you've responded to the criticism, or how you felt. Like, as DaBaby, what do you want to be more of now that you're on the other side of that? You know.
What do I want to be more? So
because you're saying you didn't think, because you're saying you didn't think it was homophobic at the time when you said this, right?
For sure,
right.
For sure,
and you said then, but you said now you
and it didn't even take all the way up until now. Like even, you know, over a year ago, I'm like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like
okay.
When I see, you know, like when I see, you know, like how detrimental it was to my career and my journey and everything that I worked that hard for, like just when I see the amount of manpower being put behind, you know what I'm saying? Like just shining
but do you see how
light on this narrative. I see like, wait, no, that was in what I say is impactful. Like,
but what I'm saying is,
do
you see the impact that it has on members of the gay community who many of them are fans of yours? Like, do you also see that?
Absolutely. Like I see it. You know what I'm saying? I see it, and you know, altogether, like, I'm ignorant to the fact at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, I'm ignorant to the fact. First of all, it's, you know, I didn't intend to offend anybody. That's the first step. And then, you know, once I did understand, wait, I offended people, I'm ignorant to, like, you know, how I offended them. I know you're offended, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's
immediately after, you get what I'm saying?
Interesting.
And I know I didn't mean that, but like how much I offended them, or like how impactful, like, you know, something that I say is, you know what I mean, at this level that I've worked. And that's the thing. I didn't wake up and they're like, okay, look, you're a role model. You're the face of hip hop right now. Like, I was literally damn near the face of hip hop, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, like, I wasn't aware of how impactful, like, my words can be. Because I say, and you know, and this is not an excuse. This isn't me deflecting or anything. But like that on that stage, I also said something about probably a shooting or this or that. But that wasn't, you know, like, that's not perceived that way. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
kind of like, that's just me offering like an example of how
so-
somebody
so-
can get
so-
why I didn't immediately
Right.
get
So,
how.
so actually, let's
You
go
know what I'm
into that
saying?
because that is interesting. Do you feel like people take the shooting? Let's say if you talk about shootings, or if you talk about anything like violence or anything like that, do you think people take that with a grain of salt, but then they take the homophobia as being truth? Like they go like,
hell
oh, these,
yeah.
or and I won't even put homophobia on you. Like they'll go like, oh, those statements. They go like, that's your truth, but then the other stuff is you just messing around. Is that what you say you feel?
Absolutely. That's what I know. I mean, that's, I'm a walking example of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, it's okay for me to say these types of things, but this is like, hell no. Like, I wouldn't dare
Right.
even say anything remotely close to it now. Like, in private or public, like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, my entire world was shifted by that. You know what I mean?
The public knows oftentimes how it wants to flog somebody. The public knows how it wants to punish somebody.
Right.
I find the public doesn't often know how it wants to reconcile with somebody.
Right.
I would like to know from your perspective, A, do you feel like people engaged with you on a level, and this is like everybody from inside the industry, from outside, do you feel like people engaged with you on a level human to human where they helped you understand? And then B, do you feel like there was ever a path to redemption for you to like change and grow? Or do you feel like it was DaBaby, you're cut off, this is who you are, and you're done?
The latter of the two, for sure. I feel like it was more so like no, you're done, you know what I'm saying, type of thing. Now the difference is like, you got one or two decisions to make to let, you know what I mean, a mistake define you, or to put in the work necessary to change the narrative bits and pieces at a time. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, it is what it is. It's I don't feel entitled to, and this goes back to earlier in our conversation. It's a beautiful thing. I was always taught to never look for sympathy, never look to make somebody feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
Like, so that just goes to like my reaction to it taking, the turn that it did, the turn for the worse that it did. Like, I have had it instilled in me that, you don't make people feel sorry for
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean? No matter what you go through.
No,
And
I
that
hear you there.
and that can almost like heighten, people can look at that as ignorance or arrogance, as opposed to me just being, the person that I was raised to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That I have to go through experiences like that to understand. Okay, look, sometimes you might need to do that immediately. You get what I'm saying? I know that now. Yeah, I learned something new.
In a way,
you know
it's
what
like
I'm saying, that day.
you took the whipping, essentially.
Oh yeah,
You
for
took
sure.
the
Like, I'm
whipping.
gonna like when I used to get whoopings, I couldn't cry. It doesn't
Right.
stop until it's stop crying. You keep crying, boom, boom, boom. It stop crying. Like,
Right.
so this is what like when I get a whooping, I got to take my lick and I carry on. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's what I do. In that situation, that was looked at as he doesn't care. He's that much worse of a person, like that type of thing. You get what I'm saying? When it's really like, I care enough to keep going. Like, that's what somebody has to understand. Like, that's, it's very few that care the way I care.
Well,
Very
that's
few.
what I was.
That ends people. Like, they'll never be sitting across the table from
and that's,
you.
Exactly,
after
and that's
the fact. You get
that's
what I'm
actually.
saying?
You see, it's funny you said that, because that's exactly what I said to the team. Is I said, what intrigues me about DaBaby is this: he has every opportunity to stay immersed in a world that will fully accept everything that he has done.
Absolutely.
And yet he keeps on insisting on trying to both explain, reconcile, and deal with what has happened, and that intrigues me. And so now you've explained that to me as a person. Before I let you go, though, I'd love to know where you go from here. What now? Summer came around. You had a song on the Billboard Hot 100. You're still making good music. You're still a fantastic artist.
Thank you so much.
I hope for you as a human being, genuinely, that you'll continue to grow. I do think you should look into therapy.
No, for sure.
From one brother to another.
No, for sure.
I promise you it'll change. And for
It's
your
something
kids.
I've been on. I've
So
been,
can
leaning towards.
I'll share this with you real quick before I ask you about the future. So my mother was shot by my stepfather. Right, she survived, thank God. But one of the biggest things I regretted, and I always talk to my mom about this, is the fact that myself and my two younger brothers never went to therapy to deal with it.
Right.
My youngest brother was, I don't know, maybe 6 years old when it happened. Mistakenly, my mom thought he doesn't fully process and understand it.
How old were you?
I was 20. I was in my 20s.
Okay.
I was in my 20s. Maybe even touching 30. Yeah, but 20s, I think, late 20s. And then the middle brother, the one who drove my mom to the hospital, he was a teenager at the time. And honestly, one of my greatest regrets is that we didn't know at the time how powerful and impactful therapy could be in helping us not just deal with, but unearth some of the traumas that we hadn't dealt with.
For sure.
You know, some of the angers, some of the fears, some of the, you know. And it don't get me wrong, it's a scary thing, it's a crazy thing. And also therapy has a stigma attached to it, you know. But I personally, as a human being, I would encourage it for you, and especially your kids, because you seem like the kind of dad who wants them to have 10 times what you had. You know, you want her to have all the A's.
Yes.
I honestly believe that. And so I'd love to know where you go from here. What now for DaBaby?
So professional with me, the next step would definitely be venturing into film and television for sure. That's something I've been passionate about from the get-go, really from the beginning, maybe even before the music, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I bring, it's like the same thing that gives me somewhat of, I won't even say the upper hand, but a different perspective or an interesting perspective that can't be found anywhere else is my life experiences that I've been able to, you know what I mean, navigate through. And these are like a lot of the things that I implement in like my music videos from day one, you know, all the way until now, to where I have other artists and major labels reaching out to me to direct videos for, you know what I mean, artists that are signed to major labels and things of that nature. You know, I got people who have like, you know, the top rated, you know, television shows and, you know, filmmakers, like they can't wait for me to, you know, give them, you know, what I got going on inside of this brain of mine, you know. So that's what I'm on. And not only that, like just solidifying a safe space for my kids to, you know, somewhat, because my kids have pretty much been born into this, right? You know what I mean? Like just they've been around it. Like my daughter can direct, you let her make a TikTok, like her perspective is just like, she's amazing. You know what I mean? She's musically inclined, like, you know, like it's just amazing. Like she's an amazing little girl. But it's just, you know, making sure that while I'm here, which I've been doing from day one, but, you know, literally like solidifying, like, you know, a position for her to do, because she's grown old enough, you know, for me to begin to see the things that she loves early on. And that she, you know, I got something very, very special coming up with me and my daughter, that I just know, I don't even care how the world feels about it, like, because she's in love with the idea and I'm in love with it. And, you know, we get to do something, you know, at a high level, you know, together. Right. So that's gonna be beautiful. Like I'm so excited about that. So excited about that. Therapy, you know what I mean? That's definitely something. Conversations like this is therapeutic. When I sit across from people like you, you know, I already know, okay, boom, that's gonna be a therapy session ahead. Like I love it. You know what I mean? Like I just love people who have compelling conversation and who just come from a place, especially you. Like the more I talk to you and just knowing like your real life experiences and, you know, things that you've been through, you can understand my perspective and, you know, my setup as a person and my character from a place that, you know, a lot of people just simply can't. Like I always felt like that's my purpose. Like I feel like the way my career has played out thus far is that's exactly how it was supposed to happen. Like, because even at the time, like, you know, with this and me as a person, like that's very big, the therapy and just finding an outlet for all of the feelings and emotions and experiences I've suppressed this entire time. Because even during the fact, like, okay, I'm the top streaming artist in the world. I'm you know, one of the like go-to live performers, you know what I'm saying? Definitely like top of the, you know what I mean, the food chain. But, you know, I also, my brother just killed himself in front of his daughter, you know what I mean, just months before then, you know what I'm saying, left 4 kids, you know what I'm saying, so it's like, I'm the head of the family, like I'm responsible for so many people, you know what I mean, emotionally, financially, you know what I mean, like I'm just responsible for so much and so many people, and this is me, but this is also still me being a person who grew up, you know, and having to suppress emotions, feelings, these types of things, and having it instilled in me to never let anyone feel sorry for you. You get what I'm saying?
No,
like,
I hear you there.
Never let anyone feel sorry for you. So that was like the main thing, and you know, and I saw, you know, my brother like looking for sorrow, like, on a live stream, just, you know, seconds before ending the live stream and killing himself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, this is my world as I'm going on that stage at Rolling Loud. You get what I'm saying? But I still went on the stage, gave a hell of a performance right up until, you know, that life-changing moment, that pivotal moment, career-changing moment, life-changing as well. You know what I'm saying? But this is like, you know, I understand even with that, like my reaction to that, because okay, now it's like they're telling, like it's like they're making me take the lid off of that jar that I've just suppressed all these things in.
Right.
You know what I mean? If
Right.
I'm gonna tap into that space, and I just feel like, you know, the world just got like, you know, the bad end of a ticking time bomb. You know what I mean? That's what I was. Like I was just a ticking time bomb the entire time. So I feel like the way that situation played out, man, it was healthy. It was so needed because I'm such a hot commodity, like, and I'm such a hustler, a workaholic, that I'm using my hustle to just, you know, to help me suppress. I'm just staying busy to help me suppress all of these feelings, you know what I'm saying?
And
like,
not dealing with what's happening underneath.
Absolutely. And what's happening underneath is very real. This is,
Right.
you know, this is as real as it gets. That's my worst nightmare. Like, it's never been about me. It's my people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've lived through my worst nightmare while being the at the time hottest artist in the world, top streaming rapper in the world.
Right.
Not just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
No, man,
you know,
so
it's
yeah.
you know, my plate was full, but I'm not one to complain. I'm gonna grab my fork, my knife, and my spoon. I'm gonna eat. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, that's what it is, especially when eating makes you forget about, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear
you know, the
but
pain of the stomach ache ahead of time.
As I say, man, from one human being to another, from one brother to another, I hope you take a moment to acknowledge the stress, the pressure, the
Absolutely.
environment, everything that it comes with, and know that, honestly, maybe, and I hope you don't make me regret this. I'll be honest with you. From me to you, don't make me regret this moment, DaBaby.
Got you.
I'm rooting for you.
No, for sure. I
I hope
appreciate
the best
that.
for you.
I'm that
I hope
type
you'll
of person.
I hope
That's
you'll
all I
become an
need.
icon. I hope you'll become somebody who makes the world a better place.
I will.
You know, I'm rooting for you. Don't make me look bad.
I got
'Cause
you.
people are gonna play this interview and be like,
I got
he
you.
vouched for him.
For sure.
You know,
got
I think you're beyond everything. I think you are truly someone who can rise to the greatest heights. We've seen your work. We've seen what you're passionate about.
Appreciate that.
You're an amazing parent. Keep doing your thing. Avoid the guns. That's just my personal
Yeah,
opinion.
for sure.
You know,
that's
I mean, that's
I
just
hate 'em.
me.
I hate guns.
That's just me. That's just me.
I hate guns.
Yeah, but I appreciate you, my dude. Thank you
Nah,
for
I
the time.
appreciate you having me, man. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? Thank you.
What Now with Trevor Noah is produced by Spotify Studios in partnership with Day Zero Productions, Fullwell 73, and Odyssey's Pineapple Street Studios. The show is executive produced by Trevor Noah, Ben Winston, Jenna Weiss-Berman, and Barry Finkel. Produced by Emmanuel Hafsis and Marina Henke. Music mixing and mastering by Hannes Brown. Thank you so much for taking the time and tuning in. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I hope we left you with something. Hopefully we'll see you again next week. Same time, which is whenever you listen. Same place, which is wherever you listened. Next Thursday, all new episode. What Now?